Hello everyone, and welcome to a bit of a announcement video against the backdrop of this wonderful little game of StarCraft I just played against the AI. Speaking of which, nice segue, this video is a bit of an announcement video, namely that I am going to be making a serious attempt at making my own StarCraft II AI. Using reinforcement learning to teach my bot how to, play the game to a decent enough level. Now, this, of course, comes with a number of issues, such as, the first question to ask is what race we're going to play or use as the bot. Now, we could play Terran. That comes with its own issues, such as, Terran buildings have got this lift-off ability. A lot of that is used to get some nifty little build orders going, and for timing attacks to hit at the correct time, lift off and land buildings on different building upgrades that are built as sort of addendums to Terran buildings. It's almost a necessary component. That sort of thing is a little bit tricky to teach an AI to do. You could hard code it, of course, but that brings its own issues. That's the most glaring thing with Terran. Suppose another thing is that you could argue that Terran is the most micro-intensive. So, yeah, it was probably great for a bot, but I'll probably tackle Terran next, but to keep things more straightforward, I think I'll go with Protoss. But before we, skipping the gun here, let's have a little chat about Zerg. Now, Zerg have got their own limitations. So every main base building, so for Terran they're called command centers, for Protoss here they're Nexus, and for the Zerg they're called hatcheries. Now the thing with Zerg is they're a bit limited in that, how to put it, so people who don't play StarCraft can understand. Basically, hatcheries only naturally generate 3 larvae, and as those larvae, you have to spend as a resource to acquire and turn them into your workers, your army, and then you turn your workers into buildings, and you can use a special ability one of the Zerg units have called the Queen to inject the bases with extra larvae I think it's every 30 seconds or thereabouts. And that's just getting started. Then Zerg bases generate a special terrain called creep, and their units generally perform better on creep. Take for example the Zerg Queen I mentioned earlier. She, as soon as she steps off creep, she walks extremely slowly, like snail's pace. But put it on creep and she's a solid mover. Yeah, so generally Zerg perform better on creep, and you can spread them with another queen ability, with creep tumors, and then you can use those creep tumors to spread creep around. That again is another layer of complexity, which will be interesting to tackle with AI, but again, I'm wanting to keep it simple. Now, Protoss is the race I've played the most in StarCraft, although I am high Gold League with the other two races. Protoss, at my best, I was very high Platinum pushing Diamond League. So, I'd like to think I'm decent. So Protoss, they come with their own issues. Like, you see these crystal things. They've got metal orbiting around them. They are called pylons. Now, they generate supply, and they also provide power to buildings close by. So, a Protoss, we have to... oh, yeah, I forgot to change my rally point after I sent the observer out. Nearly lost that unit there. Oops. Right, where was I? Oh, yes, the pylon. So, within a certain radius of the pylon, the buildings will get powered, which is great. But it's also a very crucial point of weakness in our Protoss space. Right. So, and that is pretty much it. Well, the Protoss are a bit unique in that they can, with the right buildings, or in this case, with the warp prism there, they can create units anywhere fairly rapidly, which is great. Of course, the warping is on a fair delay, and while the units are warping in, they're vulnerable to attack. So that's just the issues amongst the races. That's the most superficial ones, at any rate. But now, let's think of the sheer scale of the decisions being made at almost every moment, especially now we're starting combat. How do you teach the AI that multi-pronged attacks can be good? How do you teach the AI how to place buildings, or when to build them, or how and when to build workers, how and when to research upgrades, how and when to expand your base, how and when to move your pieces and attack. There's all sorts of decisions going on every single second, which you don't really appreciate until you sit down and actually really think. There's a lot going on every second of a StarCraft game. And then you get into the battle, not only are you thinking about all the other things I just mentioned, but you're also largely going to be concerned with keeping as much of your army alive as possible so they can continue doing damage while ensuring maximum casualties on your enemy, which is, not easy. Alright, so that is And with that, we'll wrap up today's announcement with, well, the announcement that I'll be creating my own StarCraft II AI for Protoss. And the intention is to enter them into a certain AI league and see how we go. I don't anticipate immediate results, or in fact much in the way of results at all. But, we'll work together. Alright, this is Balamar, author of the future Protoss bot BassFish4Aiur, signing off. GG, y'all.